Welcome to my workshop again. So, a few changes around. As you see, Data East Secret Service in digital stereo. So, this is a cool game. I've never had one. I always wanted to get one of these. So, I haven't done a lot, except when I got it, basically what I did is I traded my lethal weapon I had, and I have videos of my lethal weapon, which was one of my favorite games. But it was time for a change. So I picked this up in a trade, and the flashers are locked on the top, so I gotta fix that. Basically it was blowing the fuses when the guy brought it to me. So he said. So basically, I figured out this flasher, the socket was broken, and when I was looking down through the head, when the head was down, you could see the flasher socket just kind of wiggling. So basically, the insulator was bad, and it was basically touching and shorting everything out. That's it. Only thing I could think of at this point. I took the flasher out for now, and I need to redo those. So, the boards. It's interesting. Someone did the fuse mod for the bridges, which he said these are the ones that were blowing. Which is a high voltage line. So rebuilt the flipper board already, rebuilt the power board already, except I don't have an 18,000 UF capacitor, and this connector is it's burnt out. Usually it's always that pin right there, the pin in the socket on the board. So I gotta order, believe it or not, out of all the stuff I have, I do not have that connector. So I repinned the GI connector because this thing burns out all the time, and someone put the wrong connector on it, and there's exposed wires and so on and so forth. So also, like, almost every fuse in here was wrong. It was all overfused. There was one. It was the fuse for the flippers was supposed to be 5 amp. It was 8 amp. There was one that was supposed to be, was it a quarter amp, I think. This one is a quarter amp, and it was 6 1/4. So either someone didn't read it right, or so lesson for everybody: just throw all the fuses out. Don't even, just throw them all out. Throw them out, put only fuses into the spec of what the manual tells you. You don't have to worry about it. And either rebuild the motherboard. I'm probably just gonna get a rotten dog, because as you can see, so they put MD RAM in it, and you got jumper, and then the timing chip. Because basically you had acid damage, came down, blew out the timing chip. So instead of repairing the board and replacing the chip, someone put this in. I've never seen that before. So, there's other acid damage. So yeah. And then with this mess, it's a nightmare. But it works. So, but I'm probably just gonna throw a rotten dog board in and not worry about it. I need to redo the soundboard, and just basically strip everything out of this thing. And, I gotta check all the sockets, just make sure everything's working. Like, why is that one on? It's either, it can't be. Well, it could be a transistor, but I doubt it. It's probably a diode somewhere along but I'll figure it out. I literally just got this in yesterday, so Playfield's pretty good. The big thing with this one was, I had potentially a deal for another one. The plastics were all broken. This one, usually this plastic, the corners are snapped off. This is in good shape. Usually that corner is snapped off and then split down here because someone cranks that screw too tight and it splits it all the way across. That one's usually snapped off. That one's usually snapped off. That one's usually snapped off. So it's basically, this one's actually in decent shape. You got the one crack there. But as you hear, the sound works. The game plays, fairly well. It needs to be, completely stripped and rebuilt. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a early round of Data East games. It's pretty cool sound. The music's pretty cool. The theme's awesome. So I'll do all the work on this, do another video, and let everyone see the cabinets in pretty decent shape. Coin doors, really nice. The cabinet is, scratches, but no big dings or, a couple spots on the head, corner. And, same thing with this side, pretty much the same. This side's pretty good. Paint or something there. A couple dings on the little planking on this side, and then the big one was the corner. But not terrible. The heads always get banged up on these things pretty good. But yeah, so we got to figure out if that socket was the common issue for that blowing those out. You replace the bridge. I'm gonna replace it because it's the wrong one. It should be a short lug. It does change, at least in my experience. Those are usually for high edge, something like this to get it off the board. But something like that doesn't need that. But other than that, it's actually it's a pretty cool game. So so I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably put a Rotten Dog board in it because that thing's just a mess. And at some point, it's gonna cause problems. For $290 now for MP4 motherboard is it's worth it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It's a Data East Secret Service. Thanks for watching.